The Kennedy-Johnson administration, and apparently Nixon put the nail in the coffin as far as being able to print money at will. And you just can't keep flooding the market with money. I mean, if they would give me a printing press and give you a printing press and let us put it in the basement, we could help them along in printing that money. But, you know, the more you print...
I hear the North Koreans are doing a fine job of printing American money.
Well, see, and we did that to the Germans in World War II. We flooded their economy with phony money, and it helped kill them in World War II. And so we're doing it to ourselves now. And we just can't keep spending without the resources to spend it. I can't believe how much money we've spent in the last 4 or 5 months since the Obama administration took over. It's just mind-boggling how much money has been put out there. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that money. So somebody's got to pay.
No, it's all IOUs.
It is, exactly. And any economy or any country that does that to their economy is committing suicide. The hyperinflation is just around the corner. And we're not going to be able to afford it. And they're spending more. They continue to spend more. And with the cap and trade taxes and all the money that's going to create as a tax for you and I, and the cost, about $74,000 between the year 2012 and 2035 for the average family of 4. I don't have that kind of money in the bank, and I don't know very many people that do. But that's just a small part of it.
Can you explain to the audience, maybe, what cap and trade is or what it means?
Sure. Cap and trade is basically a worldwide conspiracy in a way that where we signed on that we would force the people of the United States to stop using as much fossil fuel as possible and cut carbon emissions, CO2. And by cutting carbon emissions, the idea is that we would go green. And of course, those people that want us to go green are extremists in that. They would like for us to sit in a cold, dark house and not even burn a candle because the candle is dangerous. So we sit there in our cold, dark house, not able to watch this TV program, and twiddle our thumbs until the sun comes up and we have more of the cold stuff going on. This is the kind of life that seems to be the future for us if we go that green. I'm not opposed to alternative fuels and alternative energy, but the cost of this is just staggering. $9.4 trillion is the cost to the United States. And the sad thing is that China and India and places like that with massive populations are going to be able to put all the soot in the air that they want to because they're not signed on for it. And we're going to have a net loss in the United States of about 3 million jobs. And all of this I gathered from my visit to the Heritage Foundation, where I talked to 3 PhD experts about various things. And this is a devastating bill. And after we have paid all of this price, maybe $1.62 more per gallon for a gasoline. So we're looking at maybe $6, $7 a gallon for gasoline, which is certainly going to keep you from driving. After all of that happens, then much of the money that the government collects, they're going to be sending overseas to other countries in more gifts. They've already signed on for this, and this will be more money to be sent out of the country to aid and assist other countries, and most of the countries aren't signed on. And the worst thing about this bill is that while we pay this massive price, it is only going to lower the temperature of the Earth about 0.2%. And I think that's too much to pay for only us to be on board or only a few countries to be on board.
Well, my understanding from my education is that the sun is the primary driver of weather on planet Earth. And that little of what human beings or anything that occurs on the Earth has a big impact, a huge impact on the weather on planet Earth. It's the sun that drives that.
Exactly. I have not bought into the fact that global warming is a reality. In fact, I was just at Sullivan, Missouri yesterday and, at a rally, and I decided not to wear a suit because I thought I would burn up in the middle of August. And so I didn't wear a suit, and I froze to death. It was so cold. But, you know, we've heard, if you've been around long enough, I'm not sure how old you are, but if you've been around long enough, you remember that not too long ago they were telling us that we were going to have a global ice age.
Yes.
And so even scientists have come on board and have great respect for him. Yeah.
He, when he was here, did not buy into the idea of man-made global warming. What's his name? Dave Murray from Channel 2. He neither buys into man-made global warming. There's a fellow named Tim Kuski, who's also at SLU, who's a professor there. He brought some graphs here showing that, yes, there's global warming, but it's been going on the last 100,000 years.
Exactly.
And that global warming continues, and then eventually it will begin to fall off, and then we'll have global cooling. It's all very, very cyclical. I'm bothered, like you, by the idea of putting a whole lot of tax money into the idea of trying to control a natural process. I agree that I don't want to see the atmosphere filthy and have a bunch of filth thrown into the atmosphere, but young people today don't seem to recall that back in 1970, when the Muskie bill, the Clean Air Act, passed Congress, that the atmosphere was much more filthy than it is today, and that about 90% of, at least 90% of particulate matter has been pulled out of the atmosphere since that time, and that the cost of getting this last 10% is just enormous.
Exactly. Well, in fact, I remember my grandfather telling me back in the 1960s, he said, well, the only thing I can tell you about the air in St. Louis is a whole lot better than it was when I was a kid. And so we've made tremendous improvements, and certainly we can make more improvements to cleaning our air, but you're exactly right. This is